how much money do I make on one of my real estate properties. I want to walk you through a property that I bought in 2018, and it's a duplex in Shellham in Pennsylvania, right outside of Philadelphia. And in that time, and then in that market, I was able to buy a duplex for $140,000. 1 bedroom, 1 bath on the first floor, and 1 bedroom, 1 bath on the second floor. First floor, 1 bed, 1 bath. Second floor, 1 bed, 1 bath. Yeah, I bought this duplex in 2018, and I bought it for $140,000. And I'm looking for a cap rate, and cap rate is capitalization rate. And that's how much I want to make on my money every year. Let's first figure out how much money I spent. So that's the first part, and that's a denominator of the cap rate. So first I spent $140,000 to buy it. I also had closing costs around 10 grand. So 140 plus 10 is 150. Then I spent about $100,000, let's say $110,000 in renovating it. So the denominator of my cap rate is $260,000. I bought 140, then 10 grand in closing costs. Then I spent about 110 grand in renovating the place. So I spent my total investment into this property, into this duplex, was $260,000. Now, how much money do I make on it? Right now, in the years prior, I was making about $1,200 a month on each unit. So I was making $2,400 a month. So if we do the math, $2,400 times 12, I make about $28,800 a year on this property. Now, after that, I have to subtract my costs every year. So I have a cost of about, you subtract $1,000 for insurance, so you're left with $27,800. And you subtract, Shellham is an expensive area. There's a lot of taxes, so you subtract about $6,000 a year in real estate fees and school district fees. So you subtract $6,000 from $27,800, you're left with $21,800. Now from that, there's other costs you have to subtract. For example, upkeep. Things break, stoves break, other appliances break. There's issues at the property. There's landscaping costs, April through September, of another $100 a month. So let's say you subtract about $1,000. Let's subtract $1,000. Let's subtract $1,200. So I had $28,800 minus $1,000 for insurance, minus $6,000 for real estate and school district costs, minus $1,200 for upkeep. So I'm left with $20,600. Now you take that number, and that's your numerator, and you divide that by $260,000. That is how much I spend total on that property to buy it, close the costs, and renovate it. So my cap rate is about 0.79, about 8%. So that means I make about 8% on my money every year on this property. And 8 times 12 is 96. So it's going to take me about 12 years to get that $260,000 back from real estate, from this investment in real estate. Now, investment in real estate is a long-term game. It's not short-term. It will take years. But I've got nowhere to go. When I bought this 5 years ago, I was 32. Now I'm 37. And I'm okay waiting. Well, it's been 5 years. So I'm okay waiting another 7 years until I get my money back. Or 8 years. I don't care. I'm in this for the long term. So I could wait as long as I need to get my money back. The good thing is, when I invest in real estate, all that 110 grand is not lost. It actually helped appreciate the value of the property. So I bought it for 140 of 10K closing costs. Let's not count that, but I invested $110,000 into the property about 3 years ago. And now, with appreciation, the property's worth another 60 grand. So it's worth 200,000. But since I invested 110 grand into it, it's worth another 50 grand on top. So this property that I bought for 140, because everything in it is brand new, brand spanking new, and because of appreciation over the last 5 years, the property now is probably worth about $250,000. So all the money I put into it most of it, I could probably sell for 260. All of it is there. And real estate is a great way to not lose your money to inflation, because as inflation happens, real estate also inflates. It also increases in price. So all of that $260,000 that I spent in circa 2018 and 19 and 20 is still there, and I could get it back. Maybe I could get more back. Obviously, the money is worth less now than it did in 5 years ago. I acknowledge that. But inflation did not hurt as much as if I took that 260 and I kept it in the bank. Then it would be worth a lot less now than it did back then. But we're also missing another very important point. I get cash flow from this property. It's not sitting empty. Every month, I get $2,400 from this property. So I'm still making money on this property every month. Now, there's also depreciation costs, and I have to pay IRS, the government, on any profit that I make on this property. But because of depreciation and because costs, maybe my costs a year weren't $1,200. Maybe my costs that year were $3,000. I don't know. I'll have to calculate it at the end of the year. But that decreases how much I have to pay on the profit of the property. So there's a lot of things I could do in terms of selling the property, or I don't want to sell it. I want to keep the property and just make cash flow every month. So not only did the property increase in value, it appreciated in value, I also make money on it every single month. So that is what I want to talk to you about. I hope this taught you about how I make money on one of my properties. And the way I do it is I buy it, I renovate it, I rent it out. Once I have enough money, 2 or 3 years later, I buy another property, renovate it, rent it out. And I keep going. And that's how I have 4. And that's what I do. And if a renter moves out, I fix the problems that were in it, and I rent it out. And it's been a good model for now, and I've been making cash flow every month. And that's why I like real estate. Unlike recruiting, where there's not much cash flow when I do full-time placements, because every time I place someone, that's great, but I only get paid one-time fee. In real estate, I get paid every month because someone's using my property every month. So I hope this was useful to you. I hope you learned something from it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and stay tuned for more content I'll be making.